This week on the Worship and Nonsense podcast.
The trigger warning, be careful what you're watching, how deep you go into this. So this is the video, this is the live stream where he is literally preaching and then ends the sermon.
I'm not laughing. This is as wise.
We're not going to do an altar call today. Instead, I'm going to have you stand up and I'm going to make an announcement. My wife has passed away. And it was y'all knew that she wasn't well mentally and that she needed her medicine that was hard to get to her.
They streamed this.
Immediately, he is victim blaming. Take a little break, maybe a couple days, maybe a couple weeks.
It's crazy.
Okay.
What? All our wives. I think that the best leader in the room is Jesus.
Should you be able to let worship flow on a Sunday morning, or should it be timed to get people out?
Worship and Nonsense.
We have a little treat for you today. We bring to you the guest of honor.
The amazing guest of honor, please.
Yeah, that's for you to say.
Put some respect.
Erase the soul and its memory.
Oh, I love it.
And you feel like
I love it.
It's great. She's having a freak out over here. It's great.
Knees hit the ground with the weight of the world.
Hey, I've never heard this.
The
This is great.
sun is rising. Lift up your head and
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the wonderful
there's beauty
Hannah
in
Young.
Oh my gosh.
Welcome to the podcast officially. We had to bring my wife on.
Yeah.
Because Sam brought his wife on.
Yeah.
Of
So,
course.
We
Jamie
got to
was
have more
great.
wives cast.
That would be fun. Next,
We'll
the
have a
next
deep
one,
conversation.
the next one will be Wives Cast, but then we'll need another camera because they can't be on camera with us.
Yeah, that's
Right.
they
It's
can't
not
be on
happening.
camera with us.
That's
No.
not happening. That's not happening.
That's not happening.
How are you?
I'm great.
Are you excited to be on our podcast?
Yeah, been ready, waiting. I'm excited.
So Hannah's been our offsite producer,
Offside producer.
as well as all of our wives. Well, all of our wives, right? Steve Burdick. All our wives. But Hannah has been an offsite producer for now. We've been doing this podcast, 2 years?
She's responsible for all the big stories.
All the big
All of our
stories.
big clips you have
Yeah.
shown us.
Yeah.
Chronically online. It
Yeah.
helps.
I know.
Yeah.
She just sits and scrolls on Instagram.
Yes.
Love it.
And so it is our delight, our privilege, our honor to have you here today.
Thank you. Thanks.
So
Happy to be here.
Good. So just like Aaron,
Yeah.
I'm going to ask the question.
Yeah.
Okay.
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 And it's up to you to decide who's telling the story. Okay?
I'm telling the story.
Oh, you're telling the story? What?
No, you tell the story. I think that would be cute. You tell the story. You tell it.
Okay, so
But see,
Let
here's
us-
the problem. You have to be extra. Do like you do, because her story is a little extra.
okay.
Is
It
it?
involves grocery stores and all that stuff. And so
Okay.
I just sometimes I'll take a bullet, but I just want to let you know.
Is it a bullet if it's true?
There's some perception differences. That's all I gotta say. That's all
Most
I
of
gotta
our
say.
bullets on here are true.
Yes.
So yeah.
Yeah.
So the question is,
Okay.
not just how you met, but who hit on who first?
Oh, here we go.
Okay.
Who loves who the
This is
most?
about-
Ooh, okay.
And did Aaron woo Hannah or did Hannah woo Aaron? What is it? Tell us the details.
Yeah, because apparently
Okay.
Sam's a player.
That's true.
Well, funnily enough, I thought that Aaron was a player.
Oh.
That is how this all started. We
This is all something I do in post.
This is what he did to me. He was. Jamie was talking.
Let her tell the dang story. Anywho.
dingus. So we were both working at separate churches that happened to merge, and we were all in a group office.
She is so nice. That happened to merge. I love you. Go ahead. Keep
Yeah.
going.
Anyways,
Church merge.
church merge, that's always fun. And we became friends. I definitely did not fall first.
Oh, yikes.
Dang.
Oh, yikes. There it is. The
Dang.
truth hurts.
Yo.
But I fell harder. No, but I definitely thought Aaron was a player because he would talk about how like, I got this girl's number in like the strawberry aisle of the grocery store. We're probably gonna like go on some dates, and like he was always talking about Tinder and like all these things that he was
Tinder
doing.
swindling.
Now, Aaron, are you interested while you're telling her these things?
Yeah, that's a good question.
No, not yet.
Oh, so you weren't interested before?
okay.
I was feeling it out.
Well,
So you were
that's
just
new.
like, we're friends.
I was just feeling it out. I liked her. But I was like, let's see. I had to throw some. We can't name names, but I had to throw some things at her to see how she.
Okay, hey,
to
Joe
see-
Biden, you're dancing around my
Yeah,
question.
I had to throw
Did
some
you
things.
like her when
Yes.
you were telling her?
Yes, but I had
Okay,
to
so
see.
you're
what kind of-
classified a player. Move on.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had to see what kind of guys she liked,
Yeah, right. Okay.
and one of those guys. I was trying not to say that, but
I was like,
We'll cut that.
We're putting that in.
We'll cut
No,
that.
we're not.
Okay.
Okay.
So keep going.
Yeah. So I thought he was a player. I was like this homeschooled weirdo, and I was like, well, somebody like that's never gonna go for me. So I never even went there in my head. I did think he was cute at one point. We were having a conversation with the group, and I was like, oh, he's kind of cute. And then the next words out of his mouth were, I'd wear a dress to church. Why not? And I was like,
What?
never mind.
I told you.
Never mind.
This is content.
What?
I told you it's yeah.
Aaron, if you don't know, loves to be controversial sometimes, just to like see how
Yeah.
people react. So no, we were friends for like 6 months. Then he started catching some feelings. I mean, how could he not?
Catching the vibes,
I was
dude.
like, hey,
Our first date, though, he tricked me into dating him.
Oh.
He tricked me. He loudly announced to the office that, hey, so I had like tickets to Phantom of the Opera, and I was gonna go with this girl, but she like bailed, so I gotta find somebody to go with. And I was like, well, I love Phantom of the Opera,
Yeah.
like I'll go. And we both said we were like as friends,
Yeah, but
like
why would you
as
go?
friends.
So there was no other girl. You just bought the tickets because you knew.
No,
she
there
was.
was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I
oh,
think
wow.
there was
Oh.
another.
So and that would have been the move. I would have been impressed with.
Yeah,
yeah.
But there
Yeah.
was someone
So
else.
now you know how genuine it actually was. But go ahead.
Yeah. So we agreed to go, and day of, he calls me. He's like, yeah, so I actually sold the tickets, and I figured we could just go to dinner instead.
Phantom and Opera was in town, and the ticket was high. I think I bought them for like $150 for a pair. I sold them mugs for like $600.
Yeah. So what you said was she wasn't worth it
No, I said we can go to dinner with the money that we just made.
to a restaurant that I think
did you
get
pay for the restaurant? Did you pay?
Yeah.
It funded the rest of the dates.
Yeah.
Oh,
How
my
else
God.
was I supposed to afford it?
Yeah.
okay?
From that moment, he had a savings account called
Yeah.
Hannah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Continue.
No, that was our first date, and I couldn't say no because he knew I didn't have plans that night because
She
we
could
were
have
going
said
to go
no.
to the show.
She could have said that. Makes me
Yeah.
sound crazy.
I mean, you definitely could have said you're a weirdo.
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
But you're into it.
But yeah, but there is a space of like being on the phone and you're like, I guess.
Yeah, it was kind of like,
I
yes, sure. So he pursued hard,
Yeah, I
but
did.
eventually, obviously, I fell too. I was the first one to say I love you. I felt like that was my way to
I was ready
reassure
though.
him.
I kept
though.
egging her on.
Commitment issues.
I'm like, do you have something to say? No, I was waiting. I'd be like, you have anything to? Do you love anything? Like,
Oh my God.
Controversial, a man should always say it first. No, just kidding.
Hot take.
I always said it first, but I was like 2 weeks into a relationship.
yeah, married and sick. But yeah, so my wife is an amazing worship leader.
That's right.
I feel like she should one day be a pastor if she wants to. But some accolades.
Accolades or accolades?
Accolades.
There you go.
There you go.
Either one.
She's incredible. She's a multi-instrument musician, can play many things. Piano's the main one, but also is really good at guitar. Can sing. Has singed on stage for thousands of people. Sang in Hawaii. We just heard her song. Yeah.
Yeah, and she has an ASL ministry. No, that the small joke would work, but
my
now
gosh.
we're
my gosh.
Because I have to
over the
remember to
line.
cut that out. So yeah, my wife's amazing. I'm glad you're here.
Thanks.
We're
Me
so
too.
glad.
I'm happy to be here.
And she's gonna know way more than all of us
Yeah,
today.
yeah. So
Maybe.
just
Podcast,
the voice of reason is here. She's gonna keep
Maybe.
us in check. All right. So what are we doing?
All right. What are we doing? Oh, do you want to? Why don't we review the Maverick City
Okay.
thing
Okay.
one more
Let's
time?
listen to Maverick City.
No, not the Maverick City, but the Chandler Moore.
Oh, did
Why
you
don't we
see
do
this
the
bit?
Chandler Moore one more time?
No,
Okay.
I don't think so.
And then
Set it up. I'll get it. Set it up.
So, Chandler Moore released
Oh, Chandler
the
Moore.
dumbest,
Yeah,
dumbest
okay,
video
okay,
I've
okay,
ever
okay,
seen.
okay.
But didn't know there was part 2. But here we see Chandler Moore says, "I'm back." ... We have a lot to talk about. What do you mean, Chandler? Let's go ahead and see what this means.
This is the original video first.
This is the OG. This came out 6 days ago.
Okay.
Go ahead and hit that in the corner. Yeah.
He's
You've been gone from your fans, from the world. What happened here?
my wife is the number one Chandler Moore fan. You can see by her face.
I
She
used
is
to
the
be. I
official
used to be.
president.
I
of
have
the-
swung someone. Yes.
Oh, you did not.
Oh, no?
The last
I was hoping I could take credit.
5 years have been very intense. Wow. This journey has had its ups and downs.
I took some time away to focus on being a better father and husband.
If I was to call it an evolution of what people know me as, I feel like I would be cheapening what God is.
Why does he have the ad libs in the back of his video? It's a video. It's not a song.
Well, technically, it probably is. I think it's an album release, but that's fine.
I'm literally doing what I'm saying.
I know.
I believe the music I'm working on now is honest
Oh,
and it's going to free.
so all the others weren't honest.
It wasn't honest before. Look
Gyra.
Just look at. I want you guys. You can't see her, so I can't cut this shot in. But if you could see my wife's face right now, it's hilarious. You can't see it, but if you could, it'd be funny.
Are you leaving Maverick City?
Question of if I am leaving Maverick City is a real question.
Wow.
It's a real question.
So, Hannah, what did you think about that video? Because I know what I think.
He might see this.
I know.
We're big enough.
Isn't that the goal?
We're big. We're big enough that the fact that people get so triggered by this podcast is hilarious.
Hey, Chandler Moore, just say you're dropping an album. Get it over with.
Yeah.
But anyway, go ahead, share.
I used to be the biggest Chandler Moore fan of
Okay.
all time.
Okay.
I think he likes to look at and hear himself.
I would
I need-
agree with you so
I
much.
need you to say that with confidence.
Yeah.
You can't just.
I think he thinks that he's like Kanye or somebody
Ooh.
like that, and it's weird.
Yeah, here's the
is
funny
weird.
part. Here's the funny part about my wife. She's so nice. She's a great human. Chandler Moore. She still is a great human. This is the funny part because we'll be sitting at home and she's like, "You guys really like talk about a lot of people. Like you got to be careful when you talk about people." And now that she's here and she has to talk about, I just
Because I don't think he's a bad person, and I
Yeah.
still listen to his music. But
No.
I think when it's about you rather than God, then there's always a problem.
Yeah, it's a Christian doofus, is what it is.
That's not-
And this is.
she said I didn't say that.
No one is saying or doing anything for themselves
There you
or
go.
tell you about themselves.
There you go. You'll
the
get it
views-
one day.
The views and opinions of the host of this podcast encourage you not to do this because we're trained professionals. Whatever Aaron says. But okay, so this is idiotic. Like if you just want to drop an album, drop an album. But I guess I can't blame him because it's probably working.
But in the second video, he doesn't even answer the question about is he leaving?
Well, technically,
Which is-
I don't think he is because, like, ask me a question.
Are you leaving Maverick City?
That's a real question. That's real. So you logically asked me a question, so it's reality.
yeah.
Like that's how I got that. Like it's clickbait.
That's what you're gonna read. That's what I read.
The thoughts, views, and opinions expressed by the host of this podcast are for entertainment purposes only. I repeat, it is not serious. It is not real. None of it. No one is exposing, revealing, indicating, or telling you anything about themselves. Also, we do not encourage you to try this at home. We are trained professionals who do not have your best interests at heart or our own. Enjoy the show.
Every time. Okay, so the second video.
Yeah, what's the second
Yeah,
video?
he doesn't even answer the question, but go ahead.
What's the second video?
We might.
Interesting camera angle.
I have been thinking.
That's new.
We went from the best audio in the world and ad libs. No mic.
This is LA traffic.
And subtitles.
Hashtag flex, showing his house.
I took Hannah's phone and got on Instagram, scrolling on DMs and reading some encouraging stuff from fans and support and friends. And I'm really encouraged. So I have an answer, and I think you guys will be excited. And I gotta be where the people are. I wanna do a live recording. I wanna do a live album. What we gotta do, we gotta make it happen.
Wow. Wow. Let's do it. I want to know how many times he called him and how many times they shot it.
Well, by the response. Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. We got to do it.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
So cool.
Honestly, it probably was a genuine response because he was like, this sucks. Like, there's so much work he's going to want me to put into this. Oh, man. Chandler Moore, just release an album and be done with it, please.
I love Chandler Moore.
I'm sure you do.
He's a great artist.
I think he has talent for sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
giftings
For
work
sure.
without repentance, Hannah. You know that.
I feel like God uses him to reach, my people.
God
So-
uses a donkey,
I just
so
want
yeah.
to let both of you know that, God can use
That's great.
the people that look like me to reach my people.
Nobody was making that argument. So. But yes, God does use the donkeys of the world.
Yeah, it is. All right, I got a song for y'all.
Oh.
I want you to listen, specifically for my wife on the pod. I want her to react to like harmonies and all that stuff because she shows me this stuff.
Cool.
I purposely didn't show you this so you
Okay.
can react to it live. Actually, I'm going to do this camera so
Yeah,
we
wait,
can put
put
her
her
in there.
Yeah.
Come on.
I love Caleb and Kelsey.
What's up, Sam? Go ahead. He's going to trash it.
I don't think that's real.
What?
No, like it sounds like I can hear the auto tune. Like either they have AI voices, like legitimately they're so good it sounds fake, or there's like
They're that good.
They're pumped in.
They're
like,
that good.
What it feels like, I'm just gonna say, it feels like they recorded this and then they also went in the back room and recorded background, like the B-roll,
what do you think?
and then like they piped it in.
What do you think, wife?
Or are they just that good?
He's used to or still is in a band called Anthem Lights that would do a lot of harmony stuff. That they're very talented. Him and his wife. It could be a little bit, but
I thought I just
think
heard
they're
that.
still very good.
Yo, no, they still great.
Yeah,
You're a hater.
I'm a
they
hater.
do a lot
I'm
of
a hater.
compilations and harmonies and stuff. I think.
Oh, I'm familiar with Anthem Lights. I love Anthem Lights.
Yeah.
Shockingly, you didn't know who he was, but it's okay.
No, I know who he is.
Okay, I want your opinion on this video, both of you.
Difference between singing a song and leading people into worship.
Yeah.
Whereas if
Yeah.
you need to be in that state of vulnerability, you need to be in that state of welcoming God to work through you and the Holy Spirit to be moved in you for you to even welcome other people into his presence.
Yeah.
Like how can you invite someone into a place where you're not even there?
Yeah, that's true.
Like it's impossible.
Yeah.
And so it's in that moment of vulnerability where you're like, guys, I want to invite you to join me into this. And if we aren't able or if we aren't capable to understand what our role is on that stage, no one else will be on that same page as you. There's a difference between singing a song.
What do you guys think about that?
Me?
Please, Hannah.
No, I completely agree. I think your heart has to be right, obviously, so you can lead other people. I also think that sometimes as worship leaders, we don't always feel it when we're on stage, like, or there's a song that we're not feeling, and sometimes you just have to like step out in faith that you know, and I think that's what, like, that vulnerability too, of hey, I'm not in it right now, or hey, my faith is rocky, but being right with God and still stepping out in that vulnerability, I think is really important. And I also hate church karaoke. I hate
What does that mean?
that when basically you're just singing to a track and it's just karaoke. I know that's not what the video had to say, but I feel like that was part of it. Anyways.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I just I have a level of it that I have experienced that I don't fully agree with her. All right, so my response is, the reality is that I've leading, especially in my like 17 to 18-year-old years, I was going to the club until like 2 a.m. and then getting up at 7 a.m. to go lead a set at a church. And the reality is that I wasn't feeling nothing. I wasn't in a right place, and I've seen the Spirit of God move. And I personally have the opinion that it has nothing to do with you. I think we have the job to shepherd people. And you've heard me talk about that on the podcast. I think people have the responsibility to shepherd in the room. But like when people have talked about, like, man, you're so anointed, and man, the Holy Spirit really came in the room. I don't think the worship leader has anything to do with that. I think
people say that you're anointed. Is that what they
people
say?
have said that?
Oh, wow.
Whatever.
Oh, that's interesting.
I think that the best leader in the room is Jesus. And not to say you weren't saying that, but what I'm saying is there's a belief I have that the only way we get into the presence is knowing that Jesus was the mediator between man and God. And that is the only way that happens in the room, through the Holy Spirit. So knowing the death, resurrection of Christ, then the Holy Spirit allowing us to enter the same place as a Holy of Holies, has nothing to do if the worship set's good or if the worship leader is in an open, inviting space. God is bigger than whether you want to do it or not. And I think, back to my statement about God using the donkeys of the world, whatever, he uses the fools to confound the wise. The reality I see is that I've seen more in my life, even though God hasn't been my priority, or I haven't been the main, I haven't kept God the main thing. If he wanted to move, he still moved. I do agree with the whole thing. Like, as a worship leader, I say, yeah, you should be in the right place. You should get up on stage and want to be in a place where you have spent hours in your basement worshiping and you've had intimate times with the Lord. But if the Lord wants to take someone or many people in your congregation, he's not going to stop just because you suck. So that's just my opinion. I don't think I'm right. That's just where my experience plays out.
I feel like you're saying the same thing. Okay. Do you have
Yeah,
something?
I was just gonna say, I don't necessarily think you have to be in the right place. That's
Sure.
what I was saying.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes you're not feeling it, sometimes you're tired, and like,
Yeah.
but being willing to be, for God to move regardless.
Yes.
I agree with
Yeah.
that.
I think the argument just comes from, I've heard over the years worship leaders just say, like, you know, I'll give her tone of voice to it, right? So like, yeah, like,
Are you making fun of my wife, or are you making fun of the Instagram
the girl
video?
on the video?
Okay,
like, her
I didn't
tone
say
of voice was like, you know, where you lead people in worship, and I've heard that too many times, and they make it all about the worship leader. It's like professional pastoring, like mega church pastoring. It's like celebrity pastors make it all happen. It's not true. Even though people put them on the pedestal, it doesn't matter what they do. If God wants to move through them, he will. And I think we've just made it about good worship leaders bring so much more anointing in the room. And it's like there's differences, there's levels to this conversation about anointing.
Should you be able to?
I'm on a rabbit hole.
Yeah, you are. Should you be able? Should you be able to let worship flow on a Sunday morning, or should it be timed to get people out the door? Efficient, planned, pre-planned, nurtured in the beginning of the week, or should you be able to throw everything out on a Sunday and just let the Spirit move? The reason why I bring this up is because I think that there is an interesting conversation with you two. I am not a worship anything. I am a serial volunteer. I love tracks. I also like the spirit to flow when the team's good. And yeah, I'm on both sides. I could care less.
My to quote my favorite movie of all time from radio.
See, I already know this.
Both.
Okay, you didn't always feel that way.
What are you talking about?
When I first met you, bro, you were. No, you plan in the middle of the week. Can God not move through my preparation? You said,
but that was still true.
You're like, can God not move through my preparation in the week? And I was like,
can.
Not if you pre-plan the spontaneous moment.
That's not true at all.
I was like,
that's not true.
So that's where the argument will come in. That's why I wanted you to go first. That's where the argument will come in, because that's my question is, pre-planned spontaneous to me means that we are moving through the service because we have an allocation of time.
Well, I mean, if you want to be as simple as possible, I do think that being willing to throw out whatever plans that you have is always a good option, but also you have to think about the culture of a church as well. If that hasn't been fostered and all of a sudden you're doing 2 hours of speaking in tongues or praying over people, while that is awesome, I also think you have to foster that culture if that's what you want, because people aren't going to follow that if they haven't been taught. I'm all in favor of like feeling what God is also doing in the room. I think do your due diligence, prepare. Like you've been given this role. Don't just be like, well, whatever God has, we're gonna do. But also being open. Like sometimes you can feel the congregation wanting to do a chorus 3 more times or cutting or whatever. Like being willing to like change to what He's doing versus what you have planned. There's a balance there.
Bro,
I thought it was great.
Bro,
a great
we
decision.
literally so 3 weeks ago. We were in the middle of a set. I had 4 songs.
Yeah, we
playing.
were on. I was playing.
I played 2 songs, homie. I sang "Jesus I Love You" for 20 minutes because that's what was happening in the room.
Jesus, I love that one.
Yeah, dude. And that's the reality of like you have to be in tune with what's happening.
Got it. So it's
the
more
preparation and plan.
Yeah.
I believe God can move through the preparation and plan. And the reality is there's been an excuse for years out of these worship leaders.
Yeah.
I don't prep and plan because God is going to move and the Spirit of God is going to move. That just means you don't want to work.
Okay.
Like,
do you agree?
The reality is,
I think you definitely need to prep for sure.
And so you prep, and there can be spontaneous moment. Now the question is it spontaneous or is it prophetic at that moment? That's where you have that question. It's like if God gave it to you on a Wednesday and He's preparing a moment, maybe it's prophetic to that room. But the reality is still there's a spontaneity about it. Like it's just like we're gonna take this moment, either we keep it or don't.
Yeah.
We need to prep. We need to plan just to facilitate what's in the room.
Yeah.
So that we have a structure. So say even if I'm on the worst church band ever, I can say, hey guys, that chorus we did, let's just keep doing that chorus. If I don't have a band that can go 4 or 5, 1 6, then I need to have some bit of structure for them to build upon.
Do you think so? I'll be the reverse argument to you guys now. Do you think that it is more leadership from the top? I knew a worship leader once in a lifetime, long time ago, that was like tracks all day till we die.
Yep.
And the justification behind it was pretty cool. It was like, hey, the fact that the volunteers did not need to carry the burden and the load of practicing, right? Like it alleviates some pressure there. It alleviates some of the buy-in. So no midweek worship rehearsal. And hey, we have multiple services. Like we have to get kind of to the point. We're going to leave a little spot that's kind of pre-planned, but everything is just next. Even down to the preaching. The preaching was a specific allocated time, and you were used to it. It didn't go long, right? So there's that argument. What do you say to that worship pastor, right? Because there has been some critiques to some people that are like, well, the sermon is too long, and the worship is all over the place, right? Like, I feel like, is it the middle ground, or is there one that is, I don't know, is there one that's better? Is there a middle ground in between? I guess I'm asking, like, what would you say to that person that's everything is super planned, down to a T, down to the minute, we got to get you in and out?
I think there are certain churches and cultures that is what they do, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I mean, pretty much everyone in my family doesn't really like spontaneous, like that kind of thing. Like
'Cause they're Baptist.
my family, yeah, I mean, grew up Southern Baptist, so they like to go to church, hear like 3 songs, a message, and out. And they still experience God. That's how they do it, but they really don't get nor like the spontaneous thing. And I think there are churches for people like that, and then there's cultures that do that. And I think it's about fostering that, or I don't think one is necessarily right or wrong. I have a preference.
Yep.
But I don't think it's wrong.
Yeah, I would agree. That the word you're using, culture, is perfect, right? You explained that argument even earlier, which is a perfect argument. What is the culture as you as a leader are building? What is the culture that you are saying, I want to build this up? So for me, when I stepped into Lighthouse Church 6 years ago, we kind of did spontaneous, but we were tracks. Like and the whole reason we built that culture was less about what we were building in the room and more about building a band. And then from there, I came in with experience from a church that was charismatic, flags, prophecies, tongues, all those things. And I had to bridle myself a little bit and go, well, if I want to build that culture, I've got to teach it and kind of blend it in. It took 4 years to really build that. So that's the perfect explanation. It's not right or wrong, because like, think about it. Like there's many churches who are to the T, you get 20 minutes, but not to promote them, but Brian Johnson once talked about this, whatever you believe about them or whatever, from Bethel Church.
That's her favorite pastor.
But Brian Johnson?
Oh, Bill. Okay.
Yeah, I'm talking about Brian, the worship leader.
Yeah.
He was invited to a lot of churches.
Bill puts me to sleep.
Yeah, Bill's a storyteller.
Stop talking. That you should play Eye of the Tiger. I'll fight you.
Resurrection power.
Oh, he's a storyteller. It's just like we've been in this story for an hour.
I'll fight you both.
Yeah.
I'll fight you both.
I had to get that
love
one in.
Bill Johnson.
He's great.
But so Brian said the power of 15 minutes, right? Whatever space you're given into, walk into that space, honoring that culture, and then God will honor that. So the power is not within your spontaneous moment.
Amen,
the
Pastor.
power is within what you're singing and what you're singing to and what you're singing about.
Yeah.
And if you can facilitate that, great. But then if I went to Bethel Church, I'm expecting to be in worship for at least 3 hours, just soaking in the presence.
Yeah.
Right? But that's the culture they built. So I think that's the perfect argument for
And
that.
they're just the best church worship.
No, they're not.
Known to
They're
man.
not. They're not.
Tell me who's better.
Who's better? What are you talking
Who's
about?
better than Bethel?
Caden Cronkite.
You're biased. What do you think about all of this?
I agree.
You agree?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No more.
Aaron wants us in a fight that we're not.
Yeah,
in.
because
we agree.
You've changed your tune, buddy. So
well, over the years, I'm sorry. Did I learn and grow things? Did I change things about myself?
We came here because the Highlands, which was tracks and smoke. So I'm just saying.
Yeah, back in the day, bro, we had a band that didn't facilitate those things.
I loved it. It's great. Go back.
And now you're crying, going,
back to
please put the tracks back in.
You are?
Yeah, I miss them.
No.
Well, and the reason
you guys
Aaron's
sound
there-
good without them. You don't need them.
Well, and he feels exposed. That's why.
Yeah,
He's like, I missed a note. Who cares? Nobody cares. It's a note.
Just practice.
Just
Oh
practice.
man! All right, so that's great. Here's the fun part: when we have our wives on, these podcasts actually are great and meaty, and it's great content. So we gotta wrap this one up.
Jamie has all the responsibility of bringing $3,000 in, so I'm at 3,000 views. So hey, you're gonna be up front and center.
Okay, so this is a part of the show that we enjoy.
Yeah, so go ahead and put your drink in my throat. Put a sticker on my forehead.
Sponsored by this right here. Right here.
I will tattoo your brand.
Sponsored by your brand.
Actually, we're in the possible works with a business. Actually, we're going to talk about it. We're potentially working with a business. We'll see. But if you see any ads come up, no. But yeah, we'll let you know in the coming weeks. We might have a business that we might sponsor.
Okay.
So biggest deal. We got to pull up the. Before we even
y'all
get
got to intro it. You got to tell me what to do.
Well, yeah. Well, first let's just pull up everything because we always get too deep in the woods.
Okay, talk about it while I pull it up. So you have it on a note.
I don't like this because when you start pulling up things, you pull up the wrong thing.
Yeah, and then you're not paying attention.
Is this it?
Yes. Okay. All right, so this is a story coming out of Florida.
Florida.
Yeah, you're good at this. Florida. June 24th.
Yeah. And the first thing that came out was this live stream of this pastor after he had preached a whole sermon announcing that his wife had basically, and it was kind of a big shock. Now it's become a big news story. There's been allegations of abuse from him in a lot of different ways. I don't know how much
From him or
in depth you want to go, but
yeah, we gotta go there.
okay, like there's sexual abuse, there's a mental abuse. He apparently forced her to take drugs, to go do things with homeless people, basically has abused her for very many years, allegedly.
There you go.
Allegedly. And there's also some speculation of that they were trying to divorce. He maybe has a girlfriend whose husband also passed away a few years ago. Yeah, so it's all a big scandal.
So the divorce was actually happened. So the court records show in February he tried to file and then pulled back, and then the day before she killed herself, she filed for divorce.
So October 2023 is the first filing for divorce.
Was the most recent.
Was the most recent?
Yeah,
okay.
for her.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, so this is the live stream of the pastor John Paul Miller announcing his wife killing herself at service the day after she killed herself. He was not even, actually, a little insight, he was not even in town. He was at an event with his alleged girlfriend.
We're not going to do an altar call today. Instead, I'm going to have you stand up, and I'm going to make an announcement. And after the announcement, I'm going to ask that you leave church quietly and don't talk about the announcement here in the building, please, if you can, so y'all can stand to your feet.
Manipulation.
Before I make the announcement, I also want to say that my request to you is that you will continue.
So this is the day after it happened.
Literally, he got into town the night before to come back to church to preach, and he got a call at like 3 p.m. that his wife had killed himself.
You to come to church and serve and give for the next little bit, because I don't want to have. I'm taking a little bit of a break, and I don't want to have to worry about the church. My break may be a few days, a few weeks. I don't know.
This guy's crazy.
I got a call late last night. My wife has passed away, and it was self-induced, and it was up in North Carolina.
Oh, he just said that?
So here's the weird part, though. Here's what's really weird.
You can't say that.
No.
You cannot say that in the pulpit.
Here's what's weird.
Oh, no.
So she shot herself, which is self-inflicted, not self-induced, which is weird because of what he's about to say. So go ahead.
You can't say that. Not from the pulpit.
Well, you can't say that as a spouse, because now that's what opens up an investigation.
Yeah, like there's like
yeah.
Like if I were to kill you,
you're not.
I'm not about to just go on a public platform in front of 100 people and be like, "Yeah, it happened yesterday. She killed her." Like you can't do that. Like
breaking news, you heard it here first. This is what's that word? Prepared or no? When you prepare to murder someone, what's that word?
Well, here's the real deal. Like sadly, me and her have dealt with like not this situation, but a prominent. I know. Well, because then she'll know what it is.
And we're gonna have a funeral for her next Sunday here at 3 p.m.
Okay.
She died yesterday. The funeral's at 3 p.m.
He already knows.
So
her
he
funeral.
could just like this is so premeditated. That's crazy.
That's the word I was looking for.
That's crazy.
You're premeditating your wife's murder.
That's crazy. Like you already know. Like I get that it's your church, but
yeah. But so what was funny was he had decided on cremation, and they stopped that so that they could investigate.
Autopsy.
Yeah.
And so it's all I can. Yeah, I'm just kind of going on adrenaline right now. So y'all pray for me and my kids and everybody. And she wasn't. Y'all knew that she wasn't well mentally, and that she needed her medicine that was hard to get to her.
Okay. They streamed this
immediately. He is victim blaming his dead wife.
That's crazy.
So this is what's weird about him not saying self-inflicted but self-induced, because usually when you say self-induced, it's overdose. It's drugs.
Yeah.
So that's where we'll get into context. She shares a video.
Do we have that video?
Yes, we do.
We have her video.
We have her video.
Oh gosh.
Where she claims this abuse and adds some interesting things to it. But that is weird, especially to say, like, number one, victim blaming her, and then secondly, in this day and age, to say she couldn't get her medicine. Come on, man.
What do you think?
I have
so
a
far?
lot to say. I was gonna wait till like we got into it
More? Okay.
Yeah.
What do you just for as much as we know now? What are your thoughts?
Oh, the fact that he got up there and preached a whole message, okay, and then now here at the end,
now
it's like I'm on adrenaline and like no.
Yeah,
What
who's
do you
on
think?
adrenaline when your wife gets killed?
Oh, dude.
I'm on grief.
I'm not. I am.
I'm dead in the water.
Yeah, literally. Like,
I'm not,
close to it.
I'm not on adrenaline.
I'm not at this church right now on stage.
Bruh.
Just preach a whole sermon. And then, oh, by the way, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take a little break, maybe a couple days, maybe a couple weeks.
It's crazy.
What?
This is Pastor John Paul Miller
Oh,
of
that's the
Solid
end of it.
Rock.
That's the end of it.
Okay. So
You know what I want a clip of? I want a clip.
Well, I want to hear
and a
this guy.
soundbite.
Shout out to this guy. Let's listen to what he
At
has to say.
Market Common Church in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
South Carolina.
And as you heard,
Of course, it's
the
in Myrtle
pastor
Beach, and of course, it's in South Carolina. Shocker.
Myrtle Beach down in South Carolina.
says that his wife, Mica Miller, did this herself.
Wow.
The couple had been separated. Matter of fact, Mica filed for divorce back in October of 2023, but for some reason that was dismissed in February of 2024.
That's where I got my dates mixed up. I had the dismissal date, not the actual file date.
That's
In the
don't-
weeks leading
Next time, don't pause it with dude's face. Just right on our screen. Thanks for
up
that.
to
Hey,
her
buddy.
death, Mica began uploading videos suggesting
This is
there was abuse.
really.
Here we go.
I've had a lot of women that have reached out to me about situations of abuse. And I just want to tell you what a lot of people have told me. Male or female, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what gender you are. Abuse is abuse.
Mm-hmm.
And you are the bride of Christ. And my Bible says that for you,
This is
so that you
sad.
didn't have to live that life of slavery and bondage and pain.
And listen to this.
So you don't have to stay in a abusive relationship.
Oh.
Whether that's sexual, whether that's somebody forcing you to take illegal drugs, or alcohol abuse, or physical abuse, psychological abuse, making you think that this is all your fault, or you're a bad mom, or you're a bad wife, or you're a bad husband, or you're not giving it your all when you know you are. God hates divorce, but why? According to everybody I've asked and the scriptures that I've found, it's because it hurts people. But does abuse hurt people?
Okay, we got to pause this for copyright stuff, but
You know, I want a clip of Marcher. How dare you? That's how I feel. Like, I am angry.
what do you think?
Oh yeah, my heart hurts for her and what she was going through. But she kept record of all of it.
That's
And he has written an apology admitting to pretty much everything that she said in her like journals and stuff. He's basically admitted to everything that she said.
including killing her.
No, because there's a 911 call that she called 911 day of and told the police where to find her. She's like, I want my family to know where I am, and video of her going and buying a gun and stuff. So,
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I do think it's still suspicious. I mean, she might have been the one to do it, but there's a reason why. There's like weird stuff. You know what I mean? I don't think her ex-husband is clean in all of this.
No.
Wow. Is there more? Is that stuff in here? There's another
The
video here.
911 call just came out like yesterday, so it's pretty recent.
We'll look that up. I want to hear that. Let's go skip forward a little bit.
Of his wife's death, police have yet to do so. In over a week since her death, the investigation is still ongoing.
When your world is shook up, you need to take a pause. And I can only pray that more people will take a pause and I'm trying to get my priorities straight right now.
That's crazy.
And that's making sure that my heart doesn't have any unforgiveness, bitterness, resentment, just forgiveness and hope for the future and peace.
Wow.
So here's the even worse part. Not even worse part. Here's
real quick,
more
real
of
quick.
the crap.
Before you say that, I know you're passionate, but we have to chronologically, right? Like still go through it. So okay. So you had.
I was about to give you the origin.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
So the origin is, he was a youth pastor at this church when he was 28. At that time, he had a wife and 5 kids.
That's not her.
That's not her. She was in his youth group and she was 14. And there were reports of them being best friends. And that there are allegations now that he was grooming her, divorced his wife, married her, and they had been married almost 10 years after what seemed to be him grooming her.
Okay, here's another news story. This is from News Nation, National News Source.
Pre-Trump era, every May, it seemed like every May, there would be either a missing woman or a woman who was murdered, and then there was instantaneous kind of this axis of evil of people breathlessly accusing them.
Okay, let's skip for you.
Down to the videos and the texts and the other women and everything that you could ever want. If the police had not come out and said that, look, we've got license plate pictures, screen grabs that we've taken from the toll road. We have an alibi of where he had spent the night. He wasn't even in the jurisdiction. And and frankly, I was talking with your producer about it, if there wasn't the demonstrable evidence that she had purchased the gun, he would be, if not in custody, they would have already basically convicted him in absentia. And that's the worry in these cases. You're off to the races before you even start.
So this video of her buying the gun, like you said, right there.
Mm-hmm.
That's wild. And then they said they have license plate footage of her.
And yeah, the 911 call.
Okay. Do you have the 911 call?
I think if you just
search for it.
Yeah, search for it.
That's typical.
And while you're doing that, there's also a lot of weird stuff with his dad. He founded like a church in Africa somewhere, and he pleaded guilty in federal court to like felony charges related to his treatment of international students and stuff. So there's like a lot of weird stuff with this guy's dad too. So it seems to like run in the family.
Yeah, so just a bunch of abusers.
And the fact that his girlfriend's husband died.
So what's the story with the girlfriend?
Yeah, I don't know that.
Okay, so his girlfriend, I think her and her now ex-husband went to the church. They all knew each other. Her husband was a paraplegic, so he was in a wheelchair for about 20 years. And apparently he was found in a pool, and it seems that his wheelchair had he had taken a corner too tight or something and fallen in a pool, and obviously he can't get himself out.
Robeson County 911, what's the address of your emergency?
Hi, are you able to trace the location of my phone?
Let me see. You don't know where you're at?
At National Park.
What's the phone number you're calling me from?
843-655-5242.
Where's the park located at?
in Bear Bluff.
Let's see.
You can hear it in her voice.
I have my location on, I think, on my phone. Find my phone is on. I just did my my location.
Okay, I'm showing.
That's what I meant.
Yeah, the Lumber River State Park.
Yeah, that's where I am.
Okay. Tell me what's happened.
I'm about to kill myself.
Wow.
And
Wow.
I just want my family to know where to find me.
Okay, ma'am. Just listen to what I'm saying, okay? Let me make sure I got the exact location where you're at, okay? Just 1 minute.
That is not the move. That is not the move.
What do you mean?
She shouldn't have said that. She should have immediately started crisis management. She shouldn't have.
Yeah.
She shouldn't, like.
Okay. What do you give us your thoughts? What do you
That
think?
should not have happened. There should have been crisis management. We can get you help. Yeah. We're going to, like, I'm just going to be honest. She should have had her location already. She gave her enough information to already send out patrol units. Yeah, this is super, super sad, man. Yeah. And we've talked about this time after time with, like, I think this is the most gruesome story of abuse from pastors and things like that in the recent. But, you know, you got pastors who abuse the system and all those things, but, man.
This is the worst that we've ever seen.
Man, like. It triggers that Mark Driscoll response, you know, that you feel that righteous anger. Like, you claim you're a Christian. Not only do you claim you're a Christian, you take the stance as a pastor, and you know what the Bible says about what a pastor is called to and who he should be, and even just what Christians are called to. And then you have a man abusing his wife, her crying out for help. And then the way he talks about it is disgusting.
Yeah, it is.
Like,
it's
his
crazy.
heart is so hard, and he's already been far removed. And the other part we didn't even talk about is, like, a girl came out and told on him because she had read receipts and she had the physical receipt from a restaurant where he went to eat for, like, a lunch meeting and gave this woman a 50% tip and left his phone number and a smiley face.
Oh.
And then she has receipts of them texting and him asking her for pictures and, like, bikini pics and all this stuff. Never asked her to meet up, because the reality is this man is managing a wife, a girlfriend of 3 years, and now just hitting on women. Wow. So this dude is so far deep in the waters that, like, he doesn't give a crap about anything. And it's sickening that a man, number one, in general, treats a woman that way. Number one, just treats anybody that way.
Yeah.
And then you have the fact that he's up there talking about Jesus. I'm like, dude, you are
straight face, dude. Straight face. Nothing's wrong.
Every bit of a heresy and a heretic and a Pharisee and a false prophet. Like, you cannot live that way and then try to get up and proclaim the gospel.
Yeah, that
is just junk. This is sickening. This is saddening. And this is the reality. If anything you get out of this, you know, the trigger warning, you know, be careful what you're watching, how deep you go into this. If anything, please hear this. Not even pastors, just as Christians, you are called to be compassionate, loving, kind, caring, full of integrity, not someone who is a liar, a cheater.
Yeah.
Not to say you have to be perfect, but, man, at least live by the simple basics of the gospel. Love your neighbor as yourself. And I think loving your wife is pretty explanatory. Loving your husband is pretty explanatory.
Some people need to.
And so just live by the basic foundation blocks of the gospel. And, bro, it's like, what?
Any final thoughts on this story? As a woman?
just makes me sad for her and
Yeah.
anybody in her circle. But if you ever feel that way, there's always people to call. You know,
don't be like the
It's not
911
hopeless.
operator.
It's not hopeless,
Bro.
The 911 operator. What did they say? Reiterate, because we were all here watching.
No,
it,
they were just asking questions. Where are you? They took like, you heard it. They took 10 minutes to figure out where she was. Well, 30 seconds, but like then she said, "I'm going to kill myself," and she's like, "Oh, let me figure out where you are." She should immediately went to crisis management, bro.
like why? What's going on? And then get people out there to go get her.
Yeah, just keep her on the
as
phone.
you're talking to her.
How's your day going?
A lot of people failed her in the end.
Yeah.
That's it's sad.
That's sad.
Well, now that we're all sad, let's brighten up our day. We're going to review a song that you should potentially play in your church. I thought it was decent on the way
Is
here.
the Lyric Police on patrol?
Yeah, Lyric Police it up.
Okay.
We're going to react to the whole thing, and then we're going to write out at the end.
Am I stopping it? Or just
stop it.
Okay.
Blow it up. I can't even advocate crazy for it because I heard it for like 20 minutes.
City Pointe.
As City Point Worship in Australia. What?
It doesn't look like that. Is it not just City Point?
Yeah, it is City Point.
It is. I was just being dumb.
When I was still a rebel.
You still call my name.
Amen.
And oh, how much it cost you then. But my ransom is still paid.
Not bad, it's just boring.
Your roar cannot be silenced.
Your roar, okay.
Your hand cannot be still.
I like it.
It's still a fight today.
This guy's voice is awesome, by the way. Get ready.
I believe you still move mountains when the mountains raise up high. I believe impossible things are possible with Christ. Higher, higher, God be glorified. Higher, higher, God be lifted high.
I know why you like this song. It's like every early 2000s Hill song
Yeah, I'm
ever.
so bored.
It is pretty boring, I'm not gonna lie. Thus, every song we play ever, by the way.
No.
God is still the answer.
The thirds guitar.
They're dotted eights. Dotted eights.
D-shaped third guitar.
That old tomb is empty still.
Yeah, I actually have a song like this that came out in 2018.
Embarrassing the grave.
I'm just.
Tomb is empty still.
Octave up, same lyrics.
Yeah. And so it shall remain. I believe you still move mountains when the mountains raise up high. I believe impossible things are possible with Christ. Higher, higher. God be glorified. Higher, higher. God be lifted high.
Now the question is the bridge any good?
It's worse.
Hey man, nothing's worse than that bull cut.
Around these walls, I know with you they'll fall.
Come on.
Just like you've done before. Just like you've done before.
And then they smash it and bring it up, so you get that. All right, well, it's been real.
I guess play it in your church.
Play it in your church.
I think most people would like that song. I think
Yeah.
we're a little
Yeah.
snobby.
Yeah.
Maybe some more
I'm
than
not.
others at this table. I think most churchgoers would probably
They'll
like that song.
love this. They'll be singing the Climb Mountains.
Actually, case study, I was at a men's retreat. Just real quick, I was at a men's retreat, and they brought a speaker, and I was like, oh, let's see what happens. And they started playing music. Hours of Phil Wickham. Hours.
I told you.
Hours.
There's nothing else. Phil Wickham fills the spirit, or fills up the spirit in the room.
Go
Amen.
listen to Phil Wickham. Get
Amen.
better, worse help. Listen to K-Love's positive, encouraging
Shout out
self-radio.
to my wife.
Shout out Hannah.
Woo! All right, get some therapy. We'll see you. We'll see you soon. Maybe in 2 weeks. Maybe not.
Maybe.
All right.
We'll
Peace.
see.
I believe you still move mountains when the mountains raise up high. I believe impossible things are possible with Christ.